meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado?
Here.
Freeholder Pomares?
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson?
Here.
Freeholder Sebald?
Here.
Freeholder President Gill?
Present. I'm going to ask that we please stand for a salute to the flag, and I'm going to ask Vice President Richardson to lead us in that salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask that we please remain standing for a moment of silence, and ask that we especially remember tonight our dear friend and colleague, Freeholder Levy Jones, who passed away last Wednesday. Levy was a leader on our board and in our communities, and meant so much to everyone that she worked with and touched. So we ask that you please keep Freeholder Jones and her family in your thoughts and prayers this evening. Thank you. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Mr. President, there are three. November the 28th, 2018, December 12th, 2018, and December 19th, 2018.
Freeholders, do we have any questions or comments? Do I have a motion and a second? I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Didn't hear on the second.
Second.
Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebald? Yes. Freeholder Vice President Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares?
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. President, there are none. So that's removed.
So let's move to the public comment session on agenda items. Tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting. We will vote on every item on the agenda. So if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any agenda item, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. This is agenda items only. Okay. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, let's move to resolutions number 1 and 2 on the agenda, and then we will go back to the ordinances. That's
Okay. Public comment for any item that's not on the agenda will be held at the end of the meeting in the section for public comments. Mr. President, would you like me to read ordinance on resolutions and introduction and first reading?
Resolution, you have to do the resolution.
One and two? I'm sorry, I got lost. Okay. Resolutions 1, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Management and Budget, Reserve Transfer Resolution.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, please explain.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. Actually, we have a pitch hitter, a special guest who's going to handle this for us, Mr. McInerney.
Mr. President, this is a reserve transfer. Reserve transfer is for transfers of appropriation in the prior year's budget. The transfers here are coming out of central expenses, and the opt-out line item, which is an appropriation for people who opt out of the health care plan, which had $120,000 here that's available for transferring out. In addition, we have a need for monies in the expense of a bond sale. We just did a $60 million bond sale, so these funds are available to help pay the issuance cost, as well as $156,000 of monies required in the workers' compensation line item due to additional claims that were not expected. In addition, the Sheriff's Department is in need of $65,000 for other expenses. The total transfers from resolutions is $321,100.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Freeholders, do we have any questions or comments? Freeholders, do I have a motion? Moved by Freeholder Seabold,
Second.
second by Freeholder Pomaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper, absent Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado,
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson,
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Yes. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 2. Please read it.
Resolution number 2, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Management and Budget, 2019 Temporary Capital Budget.
Mr. Jackson?
Mr. McInerney.
Mr. President, this is a temporary capital budget, which basically corresponds to ordinance number 2. It is, in fact, the amount of improvements applicable to the various park improvements for $4.3 million, various highway improvements for $7.6, and various improvements to buildings and grounds for $3 million, as well as a capital equipment ordinance for 2.1, which we see up in ordinance number 1. This is the authorization for those. It's part of the $20 million annual authorization on the self-imposed county limited bond authorization amounts, and typical of what we have done from year to year.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders, do we have any questions or comments? Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Mercado, second by Freeholder Pomaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper, absent Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to ordinances on introduction and first reading. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for introduction and first reading?
Mr. President, we have 2. The first one is ordinance 1, an ordinance appropriating $2,100,000 by the County of Essex for the acquisition of various capital equipment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Jackson?
Mr. McInerney.
Mr. President, this is a capital bond or a capital ordinance that is fully funded out of the general capital fund balance. There is no financing on any of these improvements. So there's $185,000 for the Treasury in capital improvements. There is Department of Correction is seeking $225,000. Parks and Recreation is $150,000. The Freeholder's Office is $200,000. The Sheriff's Office is $600,000. And the hospital is $740,000 equaling the $2.1 million. And again, this is paid out of cash.
Okay. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Freeholders. Motion.
I'll move, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Palmares.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read ordinance number 2.
Ordinance number 2, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Essex in New Jersey, appropriating $14,900,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $14,185,000 bonds or notes of the county for financing such appropriation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. McInerney.
Mr. President, bond ordinance for $14,185,000 is the companion to resolution number 2. It matches in terms of where those funds will be expended. I'll give that to you again. In Parks and Recreation, there's $4.3 million of the $14.9. In Public Works, there's $7.6 million. And in various county buildings, there's $3 million, equaling the $14,900,000. These will be bonded at some point in time. So this is an authorization to go out for financing at some point in time in the future. Again, Mr. President, this is all part of the $20 million that the county administration puts forth every year and that the Board of Freeholders typically, authorizes.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Frank, just one question on the $20 million, which is just a self-imposed cap that we have. Sometimes we bond ahead of time. So in other words, in 2018, maybe we took a portion of that 2019 $20 million and bonded it. Is there any, overflow from,
difference?
is there any overflow from 2018?
No.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. For the record, could we just list some of the potential projects that will be covered?
Particular, Mr. Bates is here. Can you do some of the parks projects, Mr. Bates? Oh, Sanjeev?
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. We have a bunch of parks projects proposed for this year. There are tennis courts at Brookdale Park, basketball courts at 3 different parks, Vic Park. Then tennis courts at Branchwood Park. We have a couple of field turfs are getting replaced, and all these funds are matched by open space. This is just only 50% of the funds. The rest is either coming from grant funds or open space funds.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Freeholder Johnson.
Through you, President. Sanjay, you're doing Vailsburg Park's basketball courts. You're doing West Side's baseball, returfing the baseball field in West Side Park also, right?
Yes. And there is Vic Park, that's down in the agenda for designing it, and that will be constructed with another source of funds. That will be later this year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Additional questions or comments, Freeholders? Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson,
Second?
second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper. Absent Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for listing purposes only?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions on second reading and public hearing tonight?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolutions. Going to resolution number 3, the Department of Corrections. Please read it.
Resolution 3, Department of Corrections Professional Services Agreement to provide medical consulting services for 2019. Ronald Shansky, MD, $30,000.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Mr. President, first I wanted to thank Mr. McInerney for stepping in. Mr. Acker had to run. I want to thank you, Frank, for stepping in. But I do believe, Mr. President, he now has a conflict, so he probably can't ask us any more questions for the
Click it out.
I think. Mr. Boyd is here to answer your questions on this item.
Good evening, Freeholders. David Boyd, Deputy Director, Essex County Corrections. Contract is let to Dr. Ronald Shansky on the basis of history for the new freeholders. The Essex County Correctional Facility, when it was located in the townships of North Colwell and the city of Newark, as 2 facilities, was put under a consent decree. It was being monitored for practices, particularly in the medical field. One of the things that the county executive did to alleviate that issue was to build a new facility and move both facilities into the building at Doremus Avenue in Newark. Probably 2 years after that, Judge Ackerman came down to visit the facility. After that visit, he lifted the consent decree, and the County of Essex was allowed to operate without that monitoring. The county executive, though, felt that it would be appropriate to continue the monitoring on a private basis, and Dr. Shansky, who was the medical monitor at the time, was contracted to do so. He visits the facility every other month, and then he's available by phone for consultation. His task is to review all our policies, review the procedures, and to make sure we continue on in the practices. We are NCCHC accredited, National Committee for Healthcare for Corrections Facilities. We're ACA accredited, American Correctional Association accredited. And since we've moved into the facility, we've achieved 100% on our state inspection, which governs by 10A. So that's the contract you have before you, and we hope that you agree to renew it.
Thank you. Recognizing Freeholder Cooper. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Mr. Parlavecchio,
No question.
Mr. McInerney,
No questions.
freeholders, Freeholder Siebold.
Thank you. I remember when Dr. Shansky first came to to work for the county for the correctional facility, and I think he's done a really wonderful job since we no longer have a consent order, and as you stated, we have such a high level now, and much of it I think we have to attribute to all the great work that he's done in keeping us up to performance. So I think this is a great appointment. Thank you.
Thank you,
Freeholders, additional, thank you, Freeholder Siebold. Freeholder, additional questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold,
Second.
second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolutions number 4 and 5, I believe are in the Division of Community Action. Resolution number 4, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 4, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Community Action, approval of grant award contract document and standardized board resolution form for the fiscal year HA grant from the New Jersey Division of Family Development, $3,427,414.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, as noted, these are both from the Division of Community Action, and Ms. Ramos is here to address actually items 4 and 5.
Good evening, Maria Ramos, Division of Community Action. Are we doing 4 or 5?
Number 4, please.
4? 4 is regarding some signatures documents that I didn't bring in when the budget were inserted on November 28th. Those forms are requested by the state in order to enter into the contract with Essex County and the state of New Jersey Department of Human Services. Just requesting some signatures and some dates.
Thank you. Mr. Perlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
Where are these funds allocated to contract vendors?
Yes. Some of the vendors are here. That's resolution number 5.
Okay, that's right.
To enter in the contract with the subcontracts with
Okay,
the
very
23
good.
vendors.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much.
So, Ms. McInerney, this is the housekeeping first and then the vendor second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold?
If I'm reading correctly, there are about 23 different groups that are going to obtain money, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, how do you determine who gets the money?
This is practically the same vendor for the last few years, but there was an RFP that was out there in 2016, and that's why they were chosen through the RFP. Some of these vendors are here tonight. If you would like to ask them some questions.
These are extensions.
See the vendors.
I get it, thank you.
Oh, we're gonna see them.
Okay.
Freeholder Cooper?
Thank you, President. So the contracts that was issued in 16, how many years was it for, 2 or 3?
It was just, it's the RFP for 2 years, but there's a renewal contract. We renew the contract every year.
So is this the last year that you're going to renew them?
Yes, we
and
have to
will
do-
advertise again?
We have to do another RFP by the end of this year.
All right, thank you.
Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Do I have a second? Second by Freeholder Cooper. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 5.
Resolution 5, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Community Action, approval and authorization by the county executive to enter into 24-month renewal extensions to the sub-grant agreements for the 2019 Social Services for the Homeless Grant. Amount not to exceed $3,047,026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Ramos?
Yes. This request is to approve the subcontracts. We are ready to start the program for the social services with our 23 vendors. Some of them are here tonight. We request them to be present. We have Legal Services of Essex County, La Casa de Don Pedro, Montclair Neighborhood, Newark Emergency Services, Newark YMCA, Sierra House, Catholic Charities, Irvington Neighborhood, Township of Bloomfield, and Interfaith, Salvation Army, Montclair. Do you have any question for the vendors? You're welcome.
Since the vendors have taken the time to be here, would any of the vendors like to address the board?
Somebody want the vendors want to say something? This is Emma Joseph from Interfaith Montclair.
And if you squeeze the handle right below the microphone, it will adjust the mic if it's a time.
Thank you very much. I just want to tell you that these funds go for homeless people, homeless individuals, homeless families, homeless children, and it's critical, especially in these times where it's so hard for people to find jobs that will pay for affordable rents, that we have this assistance both for shelter, for rapid rehousing, and we're grateful for these funds. I think I speak for my colleagues, so we thank you very much. Do you have any questions? If I can't answer them, there's plenty of great people here that can help.
Can you state your name again and your affiliation
Sure.
for the record?
I'm Emma Justice. I'm the Executive Director of Interfaith Hospitality Network of Essex County.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then there's Felipe.
Good evening. I'm Felipe Chavana, Executive Director of Essex Newark Legal Services, and we receive a grant under this program to provide for legal representation towards preventing homelessness. I also want to mention that under the leadership of Director Maurice Brown, the agencies that are funded under this agreement are doing a wonderful job collaborating, and it is really a remarkable thing what is taking place with respect to these funds in terms of addressing the needs of homeless people and the near homeless. And one can see it best in the way, for instance, that Code Blue is beginning to function in terms of serving, sheltering the people that are out on the street during those times when the weather and precipitation make it very dangerous to be outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Barlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Johnson?
Yes. I am glad to see Mr. Bright here from the YMCA because, as you know, I've been a member of the Y for some years, and all the homeless people, the way his staff handles them down there, you wouldn't even recognize some of them are homeless. And the feeding programs that I see going on in there, those are the kind of things that make you feel good about. But I'm glad to see him here because in the past, I don't think the Y was in the grant program. And I am glad to see him in it because they were doing it when we didn't have any others, because Mr. Brown and them would reach out to the Y because they had the space. So I'm glad to see him in it because he can definitely take care of the capacity that we need.
Thank you, Freeholder Johnson. Freeholders? So, first of all, thank all the vendors who are here tonight. Thank you. Emma, thank you for everything that you do, and to each and every one of you for your work in our communities. I have a question just around issue, and it's a question that I didn't have an opportunity to ask in the leadership meeting, around veterans homelessness and this particular program. Is there anything in these dollars that we're spending and with the vendors that we have here tonight that's doing something special, and not special, we're doing something more in the area of veteran homelessness here in our county?
There was a grant just for that, but the state took it away. They just inserted the money with the SSH program together. But it was a program called SSBG that we used to have the funds just for the veterans, but they took it away. The grant is taken away, but the money is still there.
Under the rubric of these programs, we have the CEAS committee, and on the CEAS committee, we have a veterans committee, but we also have members of, for instance, Soldier On and other veterans assistance groups. And the end result is that we're working as one community, identifying veterans in need and ensuring at all levels that people are able to access whatever help they need and whatever services are available. So veterans are a target group and are a real focus I would say all across the board of this safety net group of organizations that participate in the grant that's before you.
Freeholder Cooper?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can we just ask the administration to amend the table that's attached to this resolution to highlight the specific organizations that's equipped to deal with veterans? You know, we often get those calls looking for services and organizations that we can refer them to, and that would be very helpful to know which ones have the skill set and staff to address people with those needs.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Clerk of Administration, I'm sure we can absolutely, don't want to speak for Mr. Jackson, but I'm sure we can do that, correct?
Correct, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Claudia Marks. I'm the Division Director of Catholic Charities, Housing and Shelter Division in Essex and Hudson County. Catholic Charities do have a veterans program, and we are able to work with the veterans if they don't have their DD 214, and we're also able to help them find housing.
Thank you.
Claudia Marks, Division Director of Catholic Charities, Shelter and Housing. So we do have a veterans program, Catholic Charities, where we work with veterans to find them housing, as well as connect them to whatever service they need. If it's mental health, substance abuse, whatever, we work closely with the veterans.
Thank you.
You're
welcome. Through you, Mr. Jackson, I think one of the one of the things that we talked about, and we have talked to Mr. Brown about, Maurice Brown as well, is that last year Bergen County announced that they had reached zero veteran homelessness, essentially, in their county. And I would really like to understand a little bit better how they were able to do that in Bergen County, what initiatives they undertook in order to do that, how those numbers are evaluated, and also just to make sure that, and not that any group is more important than another, of course, we want to help anyone who's homelessness, but the number of vets who are homeless in the state of New Jersey is astounding. It's astounding. So I want to make sure that we are doing everything in this county that they are doing in Bergen County to at least achieve that potential same goal.
We'll provide that information, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thanks.
Michael Bright, President and CEO of Newark YMCA. I know I can't speak for everyone here, but I would like to say that thanks to your efforts, we do work closely together with each other. And because we all have different vouchers from different funds and pots, the extra calls that we make amongst each other to help someone out, we have some vouchers for veterans. If another agency has a veteran but doesn't have a voucher, we work together to make sure that our voucher goes to them and vice versa. So again, thanks to your support and the funds, obviously we'd like more because there's a bigger problem out there. And we all know Essex County is large, and trying to compare other counties may be difficult because if their numbers are low, their abilities to eradicate or minimize is obviously shrunk. But we work very well together and ensure that all those funds are being used properly.
Thank you. Thank you. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Do we have a mover and a...
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Mercado.
Second.
Second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you to everyone who's here this evening. Moving to resolutions number 6 through 10, which are the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Resolution number 6.
Resolution 6, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to the two lowest responsive and responsible bidders per item on a unit cost basis to furnish and deliver frozen and live animal food to Turtleback Zoo for 2019 and 2020, amount not to exceed $200,000.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Zates.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. This is a contract for various to furnish and deliver frozen live animal food for the zoo. Specifically, it's for two vendors, Rodent Pro and the Bug Company. Some of the items that they have are chickens, mice, rats, extra large rats, and even extra large rats.
Oh, God.
Okay. Ms. Carlavecchia? Ms. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders?
Let's give him his
Vice
extra
President
large
Richardson?
rats.
How big did you say those rats were?
They are extra large rats. And they come two per bag, so.
Oh, God.
Mr. President, I think we should give him that. Let him go ahead and take care of them extra large rats.
Do I have, Ms. Carlavecchia, none? Ms. McInerney, none? Freeholders, none? Seeing and hearing none, do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Have a second? Second, Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 7, which we can read into the record at a later time.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. This is a lease agreement to rent the property at 555/557 Northfield Avenue, which is across from the South Mountain Recreation Complex. Specifically, this is the Turtle Brook Inn facility that we use for parking for employees and volunteers. Previously, we entered into a 3-year contract with the same entity, and this year it's a 1-year contract as the new parking deck's being built, and then based on that, there is a 1-year option additionally, which, if needed, will come back to the board.
Thank you, Ms. Carlavecchia.
Yes, Mr. Zates, are there a defined number of spaces that we have a license to? And I'm asking that because I see this is for employee and bus parking, but some of our parking agreements are for a defined number of spaces. I'm wondering if this is first come, first served.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. I believe it's just, there's no defined number, it's just the lot, and then whatever we could fit depending on the day, being with the number of employees and the number of volunteers.
Is the motel still in operation?
Through you, Mr. President, I'm not sure.
My point is, are we sharing that lot with patrons of the?
No, it's my understanding we have the entire lot.
Exclusive
Yep.
use of the lot, okay. Thank you.
Ms. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Questions or comments? Motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Sebo,
Second, Mr. President.
second by Freeholder Pomares. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 8, we can read it into the record at a later time.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. This is a contract for $185,000 with Signal Electric for the various park and rides we have over at the South Mountain Recreation Complex. Specifically, it's the 2 current park and rides facilities that we have, and then it'll also be the new one when that one's completed. Specifically, this is if there's any issue with the electronics, such as the gates are malfunctioning or the pay-on-foot machines are malfunctioning, this company would be called in as a as-needed basis, and they would repair that. And we do have a representative from the company here.
Good evening. Vadim Durnovoy, Signal Electric.
Tell us a little bit about contract, your company.
Signal Electric is an electrical contractor, also a security systems integrator. We put together security systems using various manufacturers, and we do so for various local entities, in Essex County, Sheriff's Department, and other entities around New Jersey, and anything electronic security related, video surveillance systems, card access systems, parking systems, etc. would be something that we can service, maintain, and provide equipment for.
Thank you. Mr. Carlovecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
How much was expended last year?
Joshua Zates, County Parks. Keep in mind, the old contract was with Precision Times, and it was $47,500, but that was just for the old parking deck. The newer parking deck was still under warranty, and this new contract will cover the old parking deck, the current new parking deck, and then the new parking deck.
Okay, so all three.
Correct.
All right, and there's a component in here also that deals with the amount of materials that will be required over, this is a 24 month.
Correct.
Okay, which is 50,000, well, it's 50,000 times the markup of 15% or 57.5. So of the 185, 57.5 is allocated towards materials. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, freeholders? Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold,
Second.
second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 9, we can read it to the record at a later time.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Number 9 and 10 are related in that number 9 is the funding mechanism for number 10. Number 9 is allocation from the Open Space Trust Fund for $75,000 for design services for the Weequahic Park baseball field improvements. These improvements will include a preliminary assessment report, college regulation size athletic turf baseball field, 2 steel bleachers, field to be handicapped accessible, dugouts, walkways, ornamental lighting, trash receptacles, flagpoles, landscaping, and a digital scoreboard.
Why don't we do resolution number 10 as well?
And number 10 is the actual contract for these services, and that's with Mott McDonald.
Thank you. Mr. Carlovecchio?
Okay. And Mr. Zates, on number 10, Mount McDonald, this was this an by RFP?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Seabold?
Thank you. At the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board, we met on January 7th, and we discussed this procedure. We discussed Weequahic Park, and everyone was in favor of proceeding with this work. It's much needed.
Thank you, Freeholder Seabold. Freeholders? Additional questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
For resolutions 9 and 10.
I'll move 9 and 10.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold, second by Freeholder Cooper. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 11, 11 through 17, which is the Department of Public Works. We can read number 11 to the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson?
Mr. President, Director Varghese and his team are here to address these items.
Resolution 11, it's for an architectural services contract with Comito Associates. As you may already know, we are proposing a new building next to the Hall of Record building in the ECIA parking lot, approximately 125,000 square feet. The main purpose of this building is bringing 11 new courtrooms and consolidating a lot of other office buildings, offices from this building and 50 South Clinton. And we'll have a brand new building with new facade in the ECA parking lot. We have a representative from Comedo Associates here, if you have any more questions to them.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please.
Greg Comedo, President, Comedo Associates.
Would you like to expand a little bit? Thank you.
So I'm the president of Comedo Associates. We're an architecture and engineering firm located here in Newark, just a few blocks from here on Warren Street, where we've been for probably nearly 32, 33 years. Done a lot of work at this complex. This particular building is a building design commission for this new combination state judiciary courtroom facility and county offices, some to be consolidated and relocated from this building, from the Hall of Records. The surrogate county clerk will be in the new building, taxation, board of elections. So it's a sort of a new face, a new home, a new anchor for these departments. It's early yet. It's looking to be possibly 120, 130,000 square feet. The parking will be provided by the deck that's going up now on the other side, on the north side of the property. So this new building will be at the southeast corner, which is on Martin Luther King, behind the Martin Luther King statue. So it's going to be a backdrop to the boulevard. And the way we see it, it's going to be a prominent feature, an anchor at that southeast corner, framing our entry and our whole courts complex. So we're pretty excited about it.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. Mackner.
No questions.
Freeholder Siebold.
Thank you. Comedo Associates has done a wonderful job for many of the buildings that we have here in Essex County. And this new building is going to be something that is really very much needed, and I know it will have office space for so many departments that exist within Essex County. And I'm sure that the building will be a beautiful building because Comedo Associates is designing it, and everything they design is beautiful. And I think it will be a great anchor here at this complex. So thank you very much for the work you're going to be doing.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Freeholders. Additional questions or comments? Have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Freeholder Luciano. Slow on the draw. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 12, we can lead it into the record at a later time.
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. As you may already know, we seek for grant opportunities and receive grant funds from a state DOT and federal NJTPA. And this year we are getting approximately $15 million in grants for various traffic safety, traffic intersection improvements. And we package this $15 million into 3 packages. And this is the first package. We are rehabilitating approximately 9 intersections. Those are Franklin Avenue and Jerome Street in Belleville, Franklin Avenue, Mill Street in Belleville, Springfield Avenue and North Maple Avenue in Irvington, Springfield Avenue, Avon Avenue in Irvington, Bloomfield Avenue, Municipal Plaza, Bloomfield, Bloomfield Avenue, Grove Street, Bloomfield, Broadway and Kearney in Newark, Broadway and Cartwright in Newark, Valley and South Pierce in Maplewood. This is the 9 intersection under this grant, and this is $4.9 million grant, first package. That also include the construction management, administration services for this intersection because it's a federal job. It has to, all the paperwork has to be filed right to receive future grants. This is the budget insertion for the first package.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No question.
Mr. McInerney?
No question.
Freeholders?
Mr. President.
Freeholder Palmares?
Thank you. I'm particularly excited to see it. One of these intersections caught my attention as I was alerted that the Bloomfield Avenue and Grove Street has had 2 fatalities, as I'm sure you're very well aware. And we're very happy to see this because it's of great concern. I realize that weather is a factor, but is that a spring, summer, or fall project? If you can give me, because this one has extra sensitivity because of the fatalities.
These projects are out for bids now, and we should be getting the bids in a week or 2, but it's a federal job. We have to comply with a lot of regulations before we start. So by April, May, we will start the project.
Springtime is good. That's what I'd like to report back, because a number of my constituents, and including members of the governance in Bloomfield, have reached out to me and Brendan and President Gill about this particular incident. So we're very happy, and if we can keep us posted on that particular one, we'd appreciate, because it has, again, extra sensitivity to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? I'm sorry, Freeholder Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been contacted by the city of East Orange as well as South Orange about a couple roads within their towns that prior Janine Freeholder Bauer was talking to you about making improvements on those roads, so I would like to get an update so that I communicate to them if they're in the mix for this year for getting any of those improvements addressed. I know at a meeting last week, you guys were talking about additional sources of funding that was going to be received by you from like 2 or 3 pots for roadway improvements. I just would like a better overview as to where all of those improvements are going to be countywide and if they're impacting any of my districts.
This package doesn't have anything in South Orange, but those are programmed in future projects.
Right.
The only project we have in South Orange is paving Scotland Road, which will be happening in the spring. Paving Scotland Road, which was deferred because they are doing pipeline installation on Scotland Road. We were planning to do it last year. The township asked us to defer it another year, and that's the only thing we are holding. And there are 2 traffic intersections they wanted us to consider, and we have started the work on it, but again, funding will be next year.
Can you just email that to me, please, and then I can forward it on to them?
Yes, I will forward it through the administration.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Process question, the individual projects outlined, you'll be back before the board on those projects?
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer again. These packages out for bid, we will be coming back to you for approval for that same contract.
Okay.
And the next item on the agenda is one of the contracts for the construction management for the same package, and that will be the next item.
Okay. So through you, Mr. Jackson, if we had some additional questions around the specifics, so to speak, of some of the intersection projects, we will have another opportunity to air those out.
That's correct, Mr. President.
Okay.
And also, if in the interim, if you have thoughts or questions, please get them through.
We'll follow up even before,
Yes.
but yep, okay. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Additional questions or comments? Freeholder Cooper.
Just one quick one, thank you.
Sure.
Just a timeline for bidding.
This project is out for bid now.
It's up to bid now, thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Freeholders? A mover?
I'll move, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Palmares.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siegel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 13. We can read it into the record at a later time. Sanjay.
Again, Sanjeev, County Engineer. This is for the same package we just went through. This is the construction administration, construction management, because it's a federal job, there's a lot of paperwork involved, and the federal government wants somebody on site all the time, and make sure that quality control is met and all the paperwork is met. And this was a federal RFP, and we have somebody from Dewberry here who was the selected vendor on this job.
Thank you.
Should be able to answer any questions.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Anthony Pecci. I'm Senior Vice President of Dewberry Engineers. We're an Essex County firm located at 200 Broad Acres Drive in Bloomfield. We have 136 employees there. 26 live in Essex County, and 33% are minority employees. We previously, over the last 3 years, completed 2 similar projects with the county, 9 intersections on Lyons Avenue in Irvington, and 9 intersection improvements along Lyons Avenues in Newark. So we're very familiar with the process of getting approvals from the state and working with as an extension of Sanjeev's staff. And we're not subject to, I know from my previous presentations here, we're not subject to the union rates because we're a professional engineering firm, but the contractor would be for the trades, have to be paid prevailing rates, and we check that when we're in the field. And Sanjeev mentioned we'll have inspectors there to verify that the contractor is working in compliance with the plant specifications and approved materials, make sure the quality is there, the safety is there on the job.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
This is being funded out of the DOT grants, correct?
This is a federal grant. It's an NJTPA grant.
Okay.
Is that it, Mr. McInerney?
Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you. Freeholders?
Do you, Mr. President, do we know who the contractors will be who will be doing this work?
We'll be coming back to the board for the award of the contract. It's out for bid. We don't know who is the lowest bidder yet.
Got it.
Freeholders, additional questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Freeholder Palmaris?
I'm just happy to see a Bloomfield firm here today with residents from Essex County, so we appreciate that, and we know you'll do extra fine work for all of Essex County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Palmaris. I agree. Additional questions or comments? Have a motion?
Motion.
Moved by Freeholder Cooper.
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to Resolution 14, which will be read into the record at a later time.
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. This is a similar grant which we went through. This is another 9 intersection. I'll name those, read those intersections. Park Avenue and Cleveland in orange, Park and Day in orange, Park and Clinton in East Orange, Park and Linden in East Orange. There are 2 intersections there. Park and 19th in East Orange, Park and Parker in Newark, Park and Ridge in Newark, Park and Garside in Newark, Park Street and Mount Prospect in Newark. There are 9 intersections. There's one brand new intersection. These are again the same sort of grant. We packaged into 3 packages. The second package, this bid is out for, this job is out for bid. This is the budget insertion for the job.
Okay. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Cooper?
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request. Can I have the backup detail to really see what the project is going to entail along Park Avenue? I'm excited to see that you guys are doing some work along Park Avenue. Orange and East Orange specifically have been talking about various issues that we've equally had on Park Avenue, from pedestrian issues, speeding issues, vehicle calming things that we need to do. So I would really like to see the backup detail to make sure that the cities are complementing the work that you're ultimately going to be doing on Park Avenue.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Freeholder Cooper. Freeholders? These projects will all be done in accordance with the county's Complete Streets policy.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Just checking. I think that made Mayor Jackson happy. Freeholder Cooper?
Other last question is the timeline. Is this out to bid now too?
This is out for bid again, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Mover in a second.
Motion.
Moved by Freeholder Cooper. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, moving to resolution number 15. We can read it into the record at a later time.
In Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. Resolution 15 is the companion resolution for 14, which is the construction management, construction administration for the 9 intersection construction job. And we went through a federal RFP, and we picked Pennoni Associates as the best responder. And I have somebody from Pennoni here, Todd.
Good evening, Freeholder President. Todd Hay from Pennoni Associates, Regional Vice President, based here in Newark, 24 Commerce Street, Suite 300. Want to thank the freeholders for giving me an opportunity to come out this evening. Pennoni is a firm that's based at headquarters in Philadelphia. I run our Newark, New York, and Boston operations. I'm here to present with the employees that we have in the office in Newark. We have approximately 40. Of which we have 15 that live in Essex County, and over 50% happen to be a minority status. We also have, this project is we're familiar with this project. This is now our 9th year that we provided construction management and inspection services for traffic signals within the county. This is a continuation of projects that we undertook about 2 years ago on Park Avenue within the cities of Orange and East Orange and into Newark. So it's really a continuation for us. Same things with respect to federal monies. We'll have a full-time inspector there. I will serve as principal. And we'll have a gentleman who will be our resident engineer, who will be Spencer Slack, who is not here tonight. But I will be representing as principal, as I've been very involved in these projects over the last 8 years. With respect to the work that we do with subs, we do have a sub on the project as well that will be working with us, and that happens to be Mott McDonald. And they will be assisting us with the inspection on the project. And that is essentially it, Freeholder President.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Questions or comments? Do I have a mover?
Move it.
Moved by Vice President Richardson.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 16, which we can read into the record at a later time.
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. The county owns approximately 400 plus bridges and culverts throughout the county, and the New Jersey DOT requires us to have biannual inspections of these bridges to make sure that it's safe and everything is maintained properly. During those inspections, they come with a list of deficiencies, and we are required to fix those deficiencies and report back to the state. And this year especially, we are putting a lot of effort on bridges to make sure that everything is safe and sound. This particular contract, it's an open-ended contract, and as we need, we just call them, but again, it's open-ended, not to exceed for $19,000. But we expect to do approximately 50 bridges, 39 bridges and 13 culverts with this money. We will be using our capital funds for this. I have somebody from Colin here, if you have any question.
Good evening, freeholders. Lucas Prokop with Colonel Brothers, project manager.
Thank you.
Colony Brothers being awarded with this project. We are a mid-size construction company out of Hackensack, New Jersey, about 80 employees. We had a similar project in the past. Right now we are working on miscellaneous drainage repairs for Essex County. We are local. We are union workers. Union. 472
and 825.
And 825. That's correct. We've been working with the county on different other projects such as Cody Arena renovation. Every day we plan to have around 3 to 5 workers on the job. Out of 2 will be residing at Essex County.
Thank you.
Questions?
Mr. Palavecchio?
No questions.
Ms. McInerney?
No questions, Mr. President.
Freeholders? We'll move over in a second.
Move it.
Moved by Vice President Richardson,
Second.
second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebon?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares?
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper?
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Moving to resolution number 17, can read into the record at a later time.
Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. We are proposing a new parking deck in the South Mountain Arena. There's a lot of problems with parking currently because due to the lack of parking spaces. The new parking deck we are proposing is approximately 492 spaces, which is close to the existing maintenance yard, which is 178,000 square feet. There are three levels for the parking deck, and there are a couple of storage facilities in the ground floor, 2 elevators, trash compactors, covered storage area, handicap parking spaces, bathrooms for the workers, and a fuel pump and a greenhouse. DMD was the lowest responsible and responsive bidder on this job. I have a representative from DMD here. Will be able to answer any further questions on the contractor.
Good evening, Keith Wagner, Executive Project Manager for DMD Contracting. DMD Contracting LLC was founded in 2015. Its current primary member is Michael Dobrik, who's also here with us tonight, former president of Dobco Construction. He gave up his interest and sold his interest in Dobco in 2012 and had been out of the business for a few years and decided to come back with DMD. What we've done is we've put together a team of very experienced people. We've all worked together before. So while the company is a relatively new company, the primary leadership of this LLC has over 100 years of experience in building construction with projects up to and including $105 million projects. All right. DMD is very excited to be doing this project. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to help out Essex County in an educational and recreational facility. Our company complies with the PLAs. All of our subcontractors will be required to sign letters of assent and will be 100% union on site. We monitor that. We take copies of every union card for every worker that's on the job. DMD currently has 19 full-time employees. Of the 19 full-time employees, we are 40% female, 10% minority. I'm sorry to say we do not currently have any residents in the County of Essex. We'll work on that. All right. Under the contract, we will, and we've done this before. I personally was a project manager on the Essex County VOTEC before I left my former company. So we're very familiar with the goals of the County of Essex to hire residents. We work closely with the unions and request out of the unions Essex County employees to try and fulfill whatever goals there are. What else can I tell you about DMD? Any questions?
Thank you. Ms. Palavecchio?
Yeah, just a comment. Initially, when these bids came back, there was a question raised by one of the unsuccessful vendors. It's my understanding those issues have been resolved, and there's no further concern about the award.
Mr. McInerney?
That was the only question I had as well, Mr. President.
Fielder Cooper?
Do you plan to hire new employees for this engagement?
100% of the employees will be union.
No.
New.
Are you hiring any new positions for this project?
No, we do have a project superintendent who is currently in the midst of leaving his prior company, will be coming. But as far as new employees on the site for DMD, no. We'll be utilizing people that we have and the experience that we have.
Freeholders? Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice President Richardson,
Second.
second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, moving to Resolution 18 through now, 55,
Yes.
which are all freeholder resolutions. Both accommodations and the creations of our committees. For the purpose of new freeholders, this is just the creation of the committees, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
So these are not the assignments?
No, the committees, I think are already assigned, and this is just a formality we go through every year to state that the existing committees and who's assigned. I think that we did that internally.
Has the board been distributed a memo which recaps the committee assignments?
I believe that.
Through you, Mr. President, I did
Yes.
receive it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's just our process
Excellent.
that we do.
okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And
Thank
they
you.
generally come on about this second meeting in January.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so do we have a mover and a second to take resolutions 18 through
55.
55?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Everybody's fighting.
Moved by Freeholder Pomares, second by Freeholder Cooper. Did I hear? Freeholder Cooper?
Yes.
Second by Freeholder Cooper. I'm sorry. Freeholder Siebold.
I had some questions. Is it too late for us to do number 21 by acclamation for Alvin Smith?
We can definitely do it for the record. I do believe the services were last Friday, so I do believe it's been presented already to the family.
That's what I was concerned about, because I figured it was. All right, thank you.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
No for 54, yes for all the rest.
Okay. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, moving to report of board committees. Seeing none, legislative reports. Written communication. Unfinished business. New business. Freeholders, do we have any new business to discuss? Okay, Madam Clerk, let's go to public comment. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter, please come to the microphone, state your name and address and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Squeeze underneath the mic on the
No,
handle.
that's okay. I'm pretty loud myself. I don't need to use the mic. I'm Charlotte Gallen, a.k.a. Mama Meow. I see number 55, and I'm so excited that the community cats finally have a voice from the Essex County. They're dancing in the street due to the fact they are multiplying. By the spring, you'll have so many cats you won't know what to do. So at least you're getting a committee that you see the vision. I'm commending every one of these committee members here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making a bold step into the future of making a change and following our director, Joe D., putting Essex County first. So thank you again, because there are community cats throughout the whole New Jersey that's crying for help, and you, President Gill and Vice President Richardson, and every one of the members on the board here are fantastic people to want to make a change. Thank you again, and meow!
Good evening, honorable freeholders. My name is Karen Chunavar. Charlotte is a hard act to follow, but let me give it a shot. I'm a Montclair resident. I represent Seapawd, New Jersey. We've spoken before you, and we also are so glad that the committee's been appointed. We stand ready to help you in any way we can to provide information, bring experts. I have 2 questions tonight. When will the committee meet? What is its goal? What are its goals? What can we understand how to help you? The second question I have is that we had proposed, along with some other members of the TNVR community, to put some money in the budget for 2019 to potentially have a matching voucher program. So if a municipality like Montclair, if Montclair chose to support groups like ours and do pay for them to volunteer and do TNR, that the county would match those funds. This would encourage municipalities to do this. I don't know if you know it or not, 80% of all animals euthanized in shelters in New Jersey are cats. And right now, unfortunately, just last week, we helped trap 2 cats who both had to be euthanized. It's a very difficult time. We don't see a lot of kittens in the winter. Unfortunately, we don't see them because they're dying. So one of the things we're going to be doing, it's going to be, Mayor Jackson's going to see it a lot. We're going to be having a Beat the Heat promotion all year long. We're going to be bringing the local the People for Animals spay-neuter van to Montclair the last Wednesday of every month. Low-cost vet care is such an important thing. So we want to, as CPAW, show our dedication to providing and making available spay-neuter services as often as possible. But we look forward to, seeing how you can help as well. So I just thought you'd like to see a cat with sunglasses. So I'm going to leave a couple copies of that. And again, we appreciate your help, your listening, and hope you had a happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm just going to point of personal privilege on the committee to my members on the board. We have created this committee, and I'm hoping that someone will step up to lead it. So we've taken the first step, but I think we need some to engage a little bit with it, and so I ask that all my members take a look, and they have the time to give it serious consideration to get it off the ground, since it's one of our brand new committees. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Max Herman. I'm a resident of Bloomfield and a professor of sociology at New Jersey City University, where I teach a class on immigration and immigration policy. I'm here to speak out against the contract that Essex County has with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to send detainees to Essex County jails. I have visited the Hudson County Jail. I'm familiar with the Essex County Jail. I was just reading an article in the New Yorker about our Attorney General and how he is now re-articulating policy so that immigrants, undocumented immigrants, do not have to answer certain questions of ICE, and also that communities, including my own community of Bloomfield, do not have to participate in raids conducted by ICE. That said, ICE has been shifting their policy towards going after undocumented immigrants with felonies and other criminal records, and moving towards arresting people just simply for being undocumented. They are raiding workplaces. They have been going to convenience stores. They are actively arresting people and detaining people and putting them into these detention facilities and treating them like criminals. And as I said, many of these folks are not criminals. They are just simply people that have come here to the U.S. In search of a better life, or fleeing from very desperate and dangerous conditions in their home countries. As far as I'm concerned, Hudson County is addressing this issue too. Accepting money from ICE is the equivalent of accepting blood money, and I think it's something that we need to put an end to. It's out of step with the state policy. I think Essex County needs to get on board with what's going on at the state level and make a statement that we don't accept this, we will not condone this kind of behavior. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Whitney Strube. I'm a Newark resident. I'm here once again to echo what my friend and comrade, Professor Herman, said in urging you to end your contract with and collaboration with ICE. As I'm sure you know, yesterday was the 90th anniversary of the birth of Martin Luther King Jr. I celebrated it and honored his life and legacy right outside the building nearby by the statue with the People's Organization for Progress, where Larry Hamm gave a very powerful speech reminding us of the radicalism of Reverend King. And I know there's an ugly history of white people trying to say what the meaning of MLK is. I'm aware of that, but I also think the best way we honor Dr. King is to take seriously what he did and said and his legacy. And there is no doubt in my mind that were he with us today, MLK would be on the side of our campaign against collaboration with ICE. Every year I reread some of his work for his birthday and for MLK Day. Rereading Letter from a Birmingham Jail, he's not writing against the Bull Connors of the world. He's writing against the liberals and centrists who allow them to exist, the people who collaborate with injustice. That's the target of much of his work. I just reread yesterday his speech Beyond Vietnam from April 4, 1967, one day before he was murdered. And that's the moment where he came out against the Vietnam War at enormous cost. That meant breaking with the Lyndon Johnson administration. That meant losing his allies and supporters. And that's what courage looks like. That's what our Attorney General Grewal, is doing with his Immigrant Trust Directive. He's taking a bold stand against collaboration. And again, I know I've said this many times, but it remains true that collaborating with ICE is putting blood on your hands. And I know it's not easy to get out of the contract. I know it provides 5% of our county budget. That's complicated, and I recognize that, but you need an exit strategy in 2019. And in the interim, I want to suggest two things that I think you should also do, which I've also mentioned before, one of which is issuing a strong statement to your colleagues in Trenton for a driver's license bill. I know you did this in 2015 under Christie, but we're in a different regime now. We're under Murphy. It's Democrats who are blocking this now. It's not Republicans, and we need this to happen to make immigrants here in Essex County safer. And finally, while you're taking this money from ICE, it is a moral imperative that you commit a certain amount of it to legal representation for immigrants. That is not an unreasonable ask. That is not a radical ask.
30 seconds.
I've spoken with people from AFSC. I've spoken with Make the Road New Jersey. Not one immigrant advocate that I know of, and I've met many, and I'm very involved in this activist community, not one has disagreed that you need to be putting money toward this. You cannot take $30 million from Trump's Gestapo and do nothing with it. And so this is going to be my last meeting for quite a while. I'm teaching a class on Wednesdays, ironically, on Newark social justice movements. I may bring my students to a meeting if it works out logistically. But until I see you again, I just urge you once again to do more than you've been doing. You can do better, and I urge you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Avez Kazi. I'm a resident of Newark. President Gill, Vice President Richardson, Freeholders, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to share my opinion. I'm here today to also implore that you exercise your influence to end the practice of Essex County taking over $30 million annually in federal contracts to detain or deport illegal immigrants. I believe that this practice is immoral. These are people that have families. These are people that have become integrated parts of our communities. They're hardworking. They're motivated individuals. And a lot of these people right now are living in fear. They're living in fear of being prosecuted. And some of these people are individuals that, first of all, have no criminal record, that have done almost nothing wrong. Some of these people have been brought to this country as young people with no choice, and now some of them are being detained. And I think this is a scary practice. I think that as Democrats, we shouldn't be, accomplices to this practice. So I'm just here to implore that you guys take some action. I'm very grateful for having an opportunity to speak up. There's so many people that are not able to speak up because they're living in fear of being prosecuted. And I'm an immigrant myself. My dad brought me to this country. My parents brought me to this country. They worked hard. They got us legal citizenship. The one thing that I'm asking for you guys is to explore creating pathways to citizenships for these illegal or undocumented immigrants that are here, because I think that's a more cost-effective use of taxpayer money. I think these people can be integral parts of our society, and I think that we should stand up while the Democrats have some power and some sway here, and really change our practices and do something a little more moral. Thank you.
William Tedesco, Roseland, New Jersey. First of all, I want to say how sorry I am about Libby Jones passing. I think she was a great civil rights person and whatever. I'm sure the people of Essex County and everything are going to miss her. But I'm here for something else, because what I've heard in the beginning of the thing. I've been coming here a long time. The only person who's beats me is Seabold. Many, many years ago, I don't know why you stopped public comment in the beginning. I think this is outrageous. I'm shocked and I'm perplexed about it. Because when I first started here, I used to have to speak and wait and wait and wait and wait. And many people have left because they can't speak in bid. They don't want to stay for a full meeting. I'm lucky I can, but a lot of people don't. Whole America is about free speech, whether it's you like what people say or don't. This is your job, like it or not. This is what meetings are for. It's a public meeting. Listen to the public. You might not like what they say, but that's the most important part of this meeting. You got to do your business. But that's why they created sunshine laws. Let's go back when they didn't have it, how things were made. So, if you can't take the heat, you don't belong here. So I'm begging you and imploring you to come back with the public comment in the beginning for people who are not here. It's very important. I feel it's important. That's what I came for. And that's what you're here for. You talk about civil rights. That's the whole thing about civil rights. Hearing people, liking what they say or disliking what they say. Do I agree with everybody that comes up here? No. I don't. And I'm sure you don't agree with everything I say. But this is to me, this is so important. A freedom of speech. The first thing in our Constitution. Hear the people. When you turn a deaf ear to the people or stop them, I think it's outrageous. So my question is, why are you stopping this? Don't. Let's get back to it. I pleaded this. I remember President Johnny Jones was and he started, and since then it's been there. Now stop. I'm just complexed about this. So I'm imploring you, please, do public comment at the beginning, at the end. Like I said, you might not like it. I know it takes sometimes a little longer, but that's what you're here for. If you're not here for that, go home, because that's what I'm going to do. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, Again, if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and affiliation for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Hearing and seeing none, just two quick comments. One, in direct to the issues that were just raised. It's important to distinguish between the opportunity to speak and having that opportunity denied. And no one's opportunity to speak during a public comment portion is being denied. What had been raised for this board is the fact that we had 2 public comment sessions, which very few, we were tough to find another governing body that had 2 at their meetings. So the public comment session is still happening, is still a big part of the meeting. It's just going to be, we were going to try it at the end of the meeting instead of the beginning, allowing the people that come for agenda items to be able to speak at the beginning of the meeting and not have to wait for people who might have other general issues that they would like to speak about. I don't think we are saying this is a change that we're going to stick to all the way through, but it's something we're going to try and see how it works. But no one's opportunity or right to be heard is being denied. So that's just false. Just to Mr. Shrub, Whitney, if I may call you, thank you for your continued advocacy on this issue, and I do hope that you are able to bring your students to one of our meetings. I know that the board has, since you said you weren't going to be here for a little while, I did want to address you directly and say that I know that this board has not moved in the direction that you would like to move, or that you would like us to move on this issue, but respect and admire your diligence and persistence on a cause that you deeply believe in, and think I can speak for the board to say that if you have young students that you're also be mentoring, we would welcome seeing them at a meeting, sometimes in the near future. With that, freeholders, any additional comments that you would like to make? Seeing or hearing none, freeholders, hopefully can see some of you tomorrow, at the services for our former colleague tomorrow morning in Irvington. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr.
Oh,
President,
I'm sorry, freeholder, Vice President.
would you please just, for the benefit of those who, in the audience who may want to come, just give the time and location if you have that information in front of you.
Sure. Thank you.
So all
Yep.
who wish to attend can
Thank
be
you,
there.
thank you, Vice President Richard. The visitation on the passing of Freeholder Levy Jones will be tomorrow, Thursday, January 17th at 2019 from 10 to 11 a.m. at the Franklin St. John's United Methodist Church, which is at 142 Maple Avenue in Newark. The funeral will be held in the same location, again, Franklin St. John's United Methodist Church, 142 Maple Avenue at 11 a.m. That's 142 Maple Avenue in Newark, New Jersey, followed by an interment at the Evergreen Cemetery at 1137 North Broad Street in Hillside, New Jersey. Thank you, Vice President Richardson. Freeholders, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you.